What's going on? Why is the hype alarm going off?
It's Geats this week, Zio. It's actually good.
Geats? Good?
What year is it? I know, you better vacate for your own safety.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Perfect.
All according to plan. This is now a Galaxy Blade review. That's right, you heard me right. Geats was actually good this week. It was so dense and tightly packed, it makes you question why last week was a bore fest to begin with. Ace is all up in his feels that even Ozma can't snap him out of it. But of course, this is when Archimedes shows up, ready to take the crown for his Jamatos. Gene's also here. Seems that the short vacate to the real world wasn't enough to satisfy his Ace craving. Though, the round is called by the goddess, so that's that. Out of one fight and into another, Archimedes got heat for old lady Beroba, since she wasn't down with the Jamatos, preferring her shit with a side of bull. Due to this, he knows that the only justice for Jamatos is if he's the one dealing it. Now, here's the real reason why I locked Zio out of this room. It turns out, he was right. The DGP was way different before Mitsume's abilities were revealed. Gene explains that back in the day, the DGP was just your standard money-making reality competition. But the second they got a whiff of that creation ability, things had to change. Since Gene's got Ace's back on what's going down, he gives him the terrible reward of yet another Boost Buckle. You may be wondering why. It's to boost the toy sales, even though Boost is bundled with those drivers to begin with. Though the sales must be good, since Niram is out here eating that escargot just to style on Ace, demanding to see his mom. Of course, Niram isn't just going to hand Ace that vision driver when he still has one more left to collect. Or is he too much of a bitch to get his reward? Now let's pop the bubbly because we've got a salty Since he's been trying to keep the secret of the DGP for a while, having a chunk of the map rise up into the air made it impossible to conceal it anymore. The damage is done, and Niram is gonna call this timeline quits after this game is over. Speaking of calling it quits, Beroba's ending her matchmaking with Buffa. She only likes losers, which explains why Daichi's on the squad. But Buffa's about to be the biggest winner, and she's not about people getting what they want. So, it's time. The final matchup. Rocking the classic fit, it's the match we've all been waiting for. Geats with that kick thrust, but Buffa got that saw. But wait, what's this? Role reversal from Geats. It's pew pew laser time and an alley-oop spin shot. But Buffa's got to bring Geats back down to his level. So that's it for oh my god, a fake out! Ace with the grab, and now it's time to see moms. Oh yeah, she ain't talking, but Niram is. Just not what Ace wants to hear. Regurgitating last week's revelation to the point that even the goddess can't stand it. So with that, it's now time for the final round. With Gazer and Geats taking the fight to the city. Actually, wait, why? They could just fight in the goddess chamber. Unless you're restricted to fighting in only game spaces? Oh well, whatever. It's Boost Mark II, unable to break that fourth wall, but snatching one of them their eyes lets Niram see his fist. But that's when the itis hits. So does Gazer. Right into the hole. But Gene's not gonna let Ace go down a hole that's not his and throws him that laser. Gazer could have just let this go, but joins Geats in that hole. But that's when Buffa reveals himself to take down both of them, winning the game! Oh yeah, Twister's still going on and everyone is in, unless you bet on black. So, now that Azuma has won his wish, it's time to get a power-up! Also, the Jamato are all back. But wait, Wasn't the JGP about the last Yamato standing? I'm pretty sure Archimetal didn't die, so that round shouldn't have been over. Oh, well, what a twist! Also, new old guy is here rocking some familiar and yet some unfamiliar ID cores. Rating time! Oh yes, I could finally get in on this action. This was packed with action, emotion, and best of all, Ace losing. If I can get my jollies from something, it's seeing the lead get knocked down a peg. But for that twist of an ending, with further questions of the post-credits, this episode is getting the Shinobi S. Oh, Zio can poof, but I can't? Fuck this. This was a densely packed episode with a lot of setups for what appears to be the final arc. Ace's movements in this episode felt right for everything we had last week. Taking things straight to Niram, pulling that shit over on Buffa, and then getting to that finish line, just for Niram to keep his mom hostage. That man had tunnel vision going for him. Because of course, if he got both vision drivers, then his mom can likely be restored as well. Though, I'm going to assume that authority of the ability probably falls on the Geats guy we saw at the end, who's still rocking the ancient fit in modern day for some reason. Azuma coming from behind with that grab attack to draw in both Niram and Ace into the hole was a neat trick, as he's combining the abilities already seen by Zombie before back in episode 4 with his newfound Yamato abilities, which we already know are capable of spawning giant vines. It's a beautiful thing. Something about seeing Ace lose is just so satisfying. We do also find out that Zio was right, which is why I had to chime on in, with the DGP originally being just a show with money on the line, not your lives. But when adding that goddess to the equation, the game changed. Clearly, no one was interested in a reality show that's been done countless times. So, in the change in formula, they got them ratings up. What's interesting here is that Sarah is one of the last people remaining after the game. With the world reset, those who lost this round are gone. Keiwa, Ace, Niram, they're nowhere to be seen in that episode preview. Though Geats guy, Sueru, at the end is rocking a box with notable ID cores and one brand new one. And I know people have been predicting Sarah becoming a writer since early in the show, and it's possible that she can take this route now. After all, she's got something to fight for. Losing her parents, and then Keiwa, this woman is ripe for vengeance. Also, we getting Punk Jack back? Sure looks that way. Since the ID cores have found their way back to Sueru and didn't crack, could he be the key to their revival this time? But that really doesn't add up if he's gonna end up being the final boss in all this. Also, thinking of things, it might be possible that there's no right way to restore Mitsume. And in order to properly end the DGP, Ace will likely have to destroy her in order to keep those abilities away from future DGPs. And with all that, the name of the game has changed once again to the Desire Royale. So, it appears to have gone full Ryuki route, and for those who don't fight, they don't survive. Which was said by Azuma himself earlier this episode. Though, this will probably be talked about next week, but they really gave this man an upgrade in the form of the Fever Buckle? That's lame. Did their buckle budget dry up or something? So, what did you think about this week's Geats? The Ace Rage, Buffa getting that wish, and Sarah surviving. With that said, I'm pulling overtime, and nothing's to suffer like this week's Buffa, so I will see you all later.